Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well today. Before we get the main part of this video started, I just want to say a massive thank you to each and every single one of you guys. We just broke 6,000 subscribers on this channel. That's insane. I started this a little over a year ago, and I did not expect to be where I'm at now. It's just been so cool. An amazing ride, like going to so many events and people saying hello, come and saying hi, and the kind comments and the kind words that people have shared to me throughout this has just been, it's made this whole experience incredible. So just a massive thank you to you guys, and yeah, we're just gonna hop straight into the video. But we are matched up against my man Ricky here, and I've got my new playmat, the Zoro and Law, as well as he's got my old playmat, the flagship one. Love it, with the Luffy and Nami on there. And yeah, super excited to test out this matchup. I feel as though I've played a little bit of on the simulator. It does feel pretty favored towards Black Yellow Luffy, but there is a kind of a must in drawing into the 5-cost blocker Sabo. And unfortunately, I mulliganed for it, and I didn't end up finding it here to start. We do have two of the 5-cost aces, though, which is really nice. That card is very aggressive and very sticky in this matchup. And lucky for us, we do draw into a Garp off that, draw for turn. I'm going to take a look at the top 5. Unfortunately, though, not finding the 5-cost Sabo that I'm looking for. But Luffy is always a great addition. I've already got 2 aces in hand as well, so we don't really need a third for this. I'll take some of the counter power, but also just having Luffy is fantastic. And I almost forget that I need to draw a card before I reorganize the 2, so I end up drawing the event right there. And now looking at the rest of my life, I've got Garp, Sabo, as well as the 5-cost Sabo. So I'm thinking of how I want to set it up, but then I realize I'm like, yeah, if he uses leader effect next turn, it's probably gonna adjust some of these a little bit differently if he decides to look at my life. So I do actually set it up so that just in case if he decides to look at my life this turn, then I'm going to be able to kind of have the cards in the order that I wanted already. So I was preemptively planning this out. But he's going to use that pudding search first to not play Sparrow, but to pick up a Sanji. Yeah, I was figuring we might just see like a 5k and a Pero, but he is just going to use leader effect. Decides to look at his own life, though, and moves it to the bottom. I will go ahead and take this, but I was kind of planning around having the Sabo in hand, but not too bad. All things considered, I think that what I have in hand, the way that I have it, in life, the way that I have it, works out perfectly fine. But going to play Garp yet again, searching for yet again another 5-cost Sabo. Do not find it. But lucky for us, I do end up finding the ace. The ace is really nice considering we already have a bunch in hand. So pretty happy with that. And I'm still going to take a little search. Luckily, we do end up finding the 5-cost Sabo blocker here. Very crucial in this matchup to get this card, because I want it in life. I want to be able to recycle it multiple times, and my opponent does get a really nice Kiku Nojo here. Kiku is a bit of a threat. I mean, he can get me to 0 life this turn, but I do have options into going for what my opponent is like based around. I can set up my life a little bit, and yeah, I think we're looking pretty solid. If he swings with Kiku, I might actually just trash a card, because even if I don't over counter it, I can just trash one of my 5-cost cards so that I have 2 that I can place into life, and that's what we're going to do. I actually almost forget to do this, but since he swings 7 here, I'm looking at my life and I realize I need to have 2 in there. So I do decide to counter with Sabo here, if I'm not mistaken, to go up to 6 but still take the life. And he's like, oh, that's pretty smart. Yeah. we're trying to set ourselves up for success here. I know that I have the 2-cost Sabo Kid as well as the 2-cost Ace in hand, so this gives me very good plays in being able to use leader effect, trashing the Ace, and then also bringing both back, so I can bring back Sabo as well as Ace here. Absolutely love this kind of, you know, little heads up just on trying to stay ahead as much as possible with the, you know, being able to have 2 5-cost cards in hand. And this is a fantastic draw for me. I end up getting 2 more of the kids here, so I have options to throw into trash, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Luffy as well as Ace. Very easy to put these back in, and I swap out, you know, the alt art because I want to have the alt art on the field. And, you know, of course, we're just playing for fun. So I'm going to swing 7 into my opponent. He knows that there's going to be an 11k swing coming right after as well. I'm not really worried about Kiku. I don't really just want to give him a free life here. I can just swing 11 into life again, ignoring Kiku since I'm at the good old 11k with a blocker on board that cannot be KO'd the next turn. So this is just a very powerful play for us. Get him down to 2 life potentially, and it looks as though we're just going to do that. I'll pass it back over, but he's got plenty of cards in hand. You know, since he's had to take so many of these hits, he's looking at probably about like 8 to 9 cards in hand right now. I believe he's working with 7 Dawn this turn, so you can play Lin just to have like a bigger body onto the board, which is pretty necessary for Katakuri in this matchup, but yeah, you don't really have too many options. Swinging into Ace is totally fine on my end. You can attack into the, you know, the 7-cost Ace or 7k Ace, and I'll just let it go to trash pretty easy. And I do think that if I'm remembering correctly, I do think that he actually ends up overcommitting a little hard here on the Ace. So we'll see 7k there. Taking a look at the life, he puts that to the bottom, so now I know that he is aware of what his top and bottom life are. So I'm assuming both of these are pretty solid effects if he's putting them towards the bottom. I'm going to give him a 1k counter though, because I do want him to feel like he needs to overcommit here. But another 7k into the Ace, I'm just going to let it go. Yeah, I'm going to let it go. It's pretty easy for us. We are 9k. He forgets about it for a second, realizes, oh shoot, that's right. So just drops a Sanji though to pass the turn, and now drawing into, I believe, our 4th Ace or 3rd Ace. Yeah, we've got plenty of plays here. 0 life, 8 Dawn to work with. We have a lot of the, you know, the 2-cost brothers, so we're looking pretty solid. It would have been nice to have a Gecko at this point. I mean, not to be able to use this turn, but for the turn after. I do go ahead and get another Ace into the trash. I'm considering whether I want to play out Luffy or play out Ace and Luffy. So one thing that I think that I could have done slightly better this turn is actually attack with Sabo, then play the 2 costs over Sabo, and then use the leader effect since it would be in trash. This is something that I've definitely more so become aware of as I've made a few mistakes and I've slowly gotten better with the deck. But this does leave us sort of susceptible next turn to a reject play, KOing Sabo, and then going for game. We do have a fair bit of counter though, so I'm not entirely sure if he'd be able to connect there, but slight misplay on my part. I'm just going to attach my last 2 remaining Dawn to Ace, go ahead and swing 9. I mean, as you can see, the aggression is absolutely devastating for my opponent here, especially if he's bricking pretty hard, but a 9k and an 11k to get out of is super rough, no matter how many cards you have in hand. I mean, you're dropping 3 to 4 cards just to get out of some of these swings, but no trigger there. Just gonna pass it over. I'm a 9k leader with my opponent at 1 life. He's definitely sweating right now. There's I mean, it's a scary spot to be in. I think realistically, best play here is to try and go for the reject play if you do have it. But yeah, I've got the plus 4k marker on the leader. Yet again, I know a lot of you guys have been commenting about that. I really do apologize that I don't know the I don't know the file, nor do I know the guy that made it, but very cool little 3D printed file here that he hooked me up with. And he gets down 8 cost Katakuri, bouncing back Kiku. I think this is nice. It at least gives him, you know, some form of defense, but offense for the following turn as well. We get lucky enough to draw into an extra Sabo here, which is nice, but going over it, we've got 10 Dawn to work with. I can buff up Luffy using the 5 cost effect right now to just get a free plus 2k to the character, and Sabo allows us to defend ourselves pretty well the following turn also. So I'm just going to bring him up to an 8k now. I know that I have 2 life to get through. Kiku should be pretty free, all things considered. But I'm trying to figure out which way I want to do this, because I know that, excuse me, playing into the Sabo is going to be very, very nice for us to potentially get another 2 cost card to slap down another ace onto the board. I think we only have the Sabo, yeah, we only have the Sabo brother in hand at the moment. So he is going to counter out of that with 2 2Ks. I'm going to go ahead and trash the Sabo, bring it back ace and Sabo here. And I knew that I wanted to set it up this way exactly so that when I bring the 5 cost out, I can cycle 2 cards in hand and hopefully draw into an ace. And look at that. As if I knew exactly what I was doing. We draw into the 2 cost ace. Pretty fortunate right here. Gives us a little bit more aggression. And now Sabo's protecting everything on the field as well, which is fantastic. I've got plenty of Dawn to work with. I could even swing with Garp here if I really wanted to. I can attach all 4 to Garp. Play the 2 cost ace over that if I wanted to, but I'm just going to kind of see how my opponent reacts to some things. Swinging 7, I do get the 0 cost event and the Amaru out of hand. He's still got a pretty healthy hand size. I think he's got about 5 or 6 cards in hand, so not too bad, all things considered. It looks as though I am considering going with Garp, yeah. So I'm just going to go 5 to... I'm actually going 5 to Pero here because I'm thinking about how many potential swings my opponent has the following turn. And I do decide to just let this go. I didn't want him to have potentially 3 swings. I wanted 2 is perfectly fine for me. I know that I'm not going to have a lot of... excuse me. I know that I'm not going to have a lot of the counter power in hand after this turn. Oh, but I do decide to be a little aggressive with this. So the 7k swing is going to get countered out. I think that taking this definitely would have been in my opponent's favor. Are we still? Yeah, we're still going to swing. We're going to let him have the Kiku. I guess I'm just feeling fine with the 3k counter in hand. I mean, we do have 2 Sabos up, which is pretty solid, but he does... I feel like there's a way for him to get there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but we're going to see an 8k swing into ace. I think this might be a mistake, but I'm going to counter out. He's going to use the 10 cost. And this at least like gives him a chance to pull off some yellow shenanigans. Yellow definitely has its moments, and as you can see, I just put the Sabo to the top of my life. I actually saved this specifically just in case my opponent does pick up like a Sanji off of a trigger here. I want to make sure that I have a way to KO the Sanji. I know that Bej is a threat as well, but he counters out with Gidatsu as well as the 2 cost Satori. And look at this, top off the deck. 10 cost Big Mom brings out a Sanji. This worked out exactly how I wanted it to. I'm going to use leader effect here to trash the Sabo. I can go ahead and bring both back here. And now I can just use the 2 cost for the Sabo effect, play it over ace, and KO Sanji. This is definitely going to seal the deal. I get to trash Sabo, but it goes to the bottom of... Oh, shoot, I messed that up. Not that it's really relevant right here, but it's supposed to go to the bottom of the deck. Or no, actually no, it trashes it. That's correct. Yeah, because I wasn't putting it to hand. Yep, and I'll swing 7 with ace and the rest onto leader. We end up taking the game there. Pretty solid, all things considered. I think that we played the matchup actually really well, but I'm loving this deck. I'm having a ton of fun, and I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Other than that, I'll catch y'all in the next one, all right? Peace.